Hello, everybody. I'm Kipp Snow, Director of the Transportation Distribution Logistics Institute at the Community College of Baltimore County.
Hey, everybody. Mike Singer, Community Manager, Baltimore and Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers. Welcome to Two Guys Talking Ship Podcast, episode 58.
We got
Why don't
an
I
action.
say it like that? Like every week, I'm surprised at the number. Didn't I know what the number was last week? I mean, what?
I know. Well, as we starting it out, I'm like, I got to look and see what number do you have listed up here on our our cheat sheet. And I was like, what number is it?
Yeah.
We got quite an action-packed episode. There's some breaking news that we're going to bring to you here in just a minute. We got a guest speaker on the episode today, but we've also, it's been a couple of a number of days or a couple weeks or so since the last episode. We've been a little bit busy with work, life. I did have to go down to Charleston, South Carolina for a couple of days to help out the parents with a couple of things, but didn't ended up doing some work down there with Trident Technical College, who's also so they are a MARAD Center of Excellence designee for domestic maritime training and workforce development, and so is my college. So we were doing some collaborative work down there to try to focus on the maritime industry and how might we be able to work together along the East Coast in order to improve the maritime workforce. So that was
nice.
A little bit of work on that. So what you been up to?
Busy with work and life, man. Doing stuff around the house. Spending a lot of time with the grandbaby. So he's awesome. Running around here at light speed. I don't think I've ever gotten down on the floor and gotten back up as much as I have, since I was 3.
Keeping you young then.
Oh my God. Because we're in a living room and we're playing with the colored wooden blocks, right? And we're building stuff. And then, let's go play with these wind up cars and let's go play with the rocking horse. And, let's go run through the entire house. And then, got to get up and it's wonderful. But some days it's kind of kicking my butt. But things are good, man. Things are good. Hey, if you're new to the channel, give us a like, subscribe, or hit the bell to be alerted to new podcasts as they come available. Share with your friends, share with somebody you think might have interest in the port of Baltimore, or I don't know, maybe somebody needs to be smacked over the head with the port of Baltimore because they don't ever think of it. But you know what? It is kind of funny. Like, nobody ever hits the like button. Like, we could get 300 views on the podcast and we might get 15 likes or something. It's weird how. We should be happy with folks that are just listening.
How about this? If you listen, hit the button up or down. Ooh. That way well, at least we know they're listening, because if they listen and we told them, hey, hit a button and let's go see which button they hit.
Yeah, that's true.
All right.
Might regret that.
Well, let's see.
That's funny.
All right. You want to get into some shipping updates?
Yeah. So I think we're just going to do, I've got 6 weeks here. Let's just run through them real quick. So average daily truck transactions for Seagirt. This is container traffic, right? So in a given week, this many per day. So 3,298, 3,624, 3,563, 3,586, and then a little bit of a dip. Now, this was only a 4-day, but Fridays are typically down, so I can't imagine Friday would bring it up. Sure. 3314, and then just this week, including yesterday, so 3550. So that's only a 4-day.
Okay. Still holding pretty steady then.
Yeah, there was a 32 in there and there was a 33 in there, but pretty much 35, 36. Pretty steady. through, 5 or 6 weeks.
Why don't we get into some breaking news?
Oh, that is true.
So you sent me a message yesterday about something that was supposed to happen today, and I gathered the camera and went down to the Mount Royal Station
Mm-hmm.
at one of the openings of the Howard Street Tunnel for an announcement today. Do you know what the announcement was? Well, you know what the announcement was.
Well, it was open.
Tunnel's open.
Yeah.
So, I have some video here. Why don't I show you to
cool.
prove that the tunnel is open?
Nice.
So this was this is headed southbound. So the train's headed southbound. There was a press conference today, and the representatives from the CEO of CSX was there to make the announcement. But there was quite a number of state dignitaries and industry-related dignitaries who were there to make this announcement that the Howard Street Tunnel itself is now open for business.
Yep.
This means that double stack containers can now go through the Howard Street Tunnel. This does not mean that the full project is complete. There's still a little bit more tunnel work that they have to finish up. There are several different bridge overpasses that are still involved in the construction. It's still slated for spring 2026 for the project to be fully finished and the route to be fully open. But this was a huge milestone today to show that the tunnel now has the ability to move double stack. So I'm going to hit the button here. This was really cool. This was after the ceremony, and
so
they
this
wanted
was all kind of staged there, static.
Yeah,
right,
this was all correct. This was all staged. So when you came down to the presser, and this see where everybody was kind of standing, they had a podium up there, and they had the double stack train just sitting there. And then right before the video starts, we all had to yell 3, 2, 1, move that train, and then the horn blew, and then the Dunbar High School marching band was there and you'll hear them playing here in just a minute. And then the train fired up and went in through the tunnel. So I'll hit the button here.
Cool.
And forgive the camera ops there. I was standing on an angle on all of the rocks that were there.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's
very festive atmosphere. There you go. There you can see it starting to roll.
Very cool.
And so there was a small part of me. Yep. Train whistle.
I like this lady. She's got a little bit of a mic in her. She's like, let me just move the stupid barrier and go where I want.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not standing here. That's cool.
So there's a small part of me who was like, will it fit? Will it fit? Will it fit? Yes, it will fit.
And I think they had to regrade all this under the tunnel too. Right?
You can just a second. No.
That's cool.
So I'll stop the video there. You are correct, because I did notice the bed here for the second tunnel. What you don't see from this angle is the other end, and there is another tunnel opening where it's got two tunnel holes. But the bed on the left is still down at the lower level. So they still have more work to go in and complete all of this. But you can see that the difference in the elevation right where my mouse is, where the part of the line was, and then what they had to do to build it up. So so that was exciting news today. I've got more video that I've put together that I'll put together this weekend, and we can post it up so that the Well, public can take a look at what happened with the full, the full presentation and the speakers if you're interested in that. And then CSX also announced a new train. Also, what happened right after
Mm-hmm.
this double stack train left, they brought in a train with the new business car fleet
Mm-hmm.
that with the new design of all of their company leaders with names on the side of the cars, and so that
Hmm.
was really neat. Here's a picture of the book that they were. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if you could take a look at that, that's what the cars look like.
Well, that's the engines, yeah.
Correct. That's what the engines look like, and then the cars, have a nice, color scheme on them. So I'll put all of that stuff
Now,
together for everybody to take a look at.
now, if you look into and if you, I don't know if you notice, if you're a foamer, as we call ourselves, if you're a railroad fan, you'll notice that scheme is not the normal CSX scheme. And you know what it's patterned after?
What's
The
that?
B&O,
Yes.
right? So they did their best to kind of take, that old school
Mm-hmm.
scheme of the B&O and, put it on some, newer equipment.
It looks
Kind
it
of a,
looks really sharp.
yeah, right. So it's kind of a nod to the history, um, and CSX's connection with the B&O, which started here in Baltimore in
That's right.
in the early 1800s, 1830s, 1820s. So that's pretty cool. But were you saying that the train was new? Because generically, that train has been around for a while. Now,
Yeah.
maybe it is new. Maybe there are new parts to it or something, or maybe they have new cars. But
I'm
and
I'm not
maybe I didn't know that.
I'm not quite sure about that. The
Mm-hmm.
announcement was for the scheme itself, so I don't know if I
Oh,
don't know
that's
if they were
interesting.
just remodeled to reflect a new design and a
Mm,
refresh in the equipment on it. But it was definitely to announce that what that scheme was. So and again, it
very
looked
cool.
really sharp and
Yeah.
with the print and the patterns and everything that they had on it.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I love it. So I'm gonna put you on a spot.
Okay.
Now this is a question because you and I have talked about this, and you just hit on it. And there were several bridges, I think, going north from Baltimore, right? Which either they have to lower the track or they might be building a new bridge. Um,
Correct.
in that video, behind you is northbound, right? And the train kind of takes a route like through like North Baltimore. I think it's 26th Street to
Hmm.
get to the east side. They were even, relaying that track just last week or 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
is what I remember. Um, do you know, can double stacks get to Seagirt?
Not yet.
Oh,
Not
okay.
yet. Yeah.
Interesting.
So I saw Maryland Port Administration Director of Communications, and
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to make sure that we were communicating that this celebration today is strictly for the Howard Street Tunnel itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that everything is not fully completed yet, but that's the completion mark will be in the spring, and it is to go ahead and continue to finish the rest of the upgrades that are along the corridor. All of that's
Mm-hmm.
still in progress. They're still progressing. They're still on time. This was just to go and around the symbolism around the Howard Street Tunnel itself,
Mm-hmm.
and the work that had been done. So it is good to go. We just need the rest of the work on the project to finish up.
Right. And so, what a little sidebar, what will be interesting is the next Ravens football game I go to. See, because most people probably don't realize that's right by the stadium is right, it leads right into the tunnel.
Correct.
And that is basically the I-95 of East Coast railroading, right? Goes right by the stadium. And there have been no trains the first few games, right? So I'm sure we'll see them at the next game. So that'll be cool. Yeah, and that's why I asked that specifically, because I thought, well, maybe there are some leveling or some overpasses like going north of Baltimore, but could it go around what we call the belt line and get over to Seagirt with a double stack? And I wasn't sure about that. So
yeah, he was Richard was telling me that they're going to be open for single stack now. Now that the line has been reconnected, they'll go back to operation prior, but they can't go to double stack until they get each one of the components straight for the rest of the line between here and Philly.
Interesting. I'll see if I can get some more details from my railroad buddies.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Up next, we have a special guest. We're trying to get some of these interviews that we've been holding on to and get those scheduled up. But this actually is a repeat. But it's also because we've had some inquiries about the Seafarers. So we're going to flip over to our guest interview today with Josh Messick from the Baltimore International Seafarers Group. And he's going to give us an update on things that are happening with his organization and the Dali Crew and some of the work that he's been doing. So let's take a look at that. All right, everybody, we have a special guest here. It's one of our friends from in and around the Port of Baltimore. He's been on with us before. We've asked him to come back and give us. What's that?
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, but we did ask him to come back to discuss some things. So today we have Josh Messick from
Don't call it a comeback.
I've been here for years. Yes, nice. Nice LL Cool J reference. With the Baltimore International Seafarers Group. Welcome, Josh, back. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Man, I think it's been 50 episodes.
Wow. Yeah.
I
was your first guest.
Right. I think it was like episode 7. So now we're on episode 58. That's crazy. We gotta just pencil you, you just show up every 25 episodes, whether we call you or not. How about that?
There you go.
I'll do it. Yeah. Pack myself on in.
Yeah. And I want to compliment you on your digs. Nice upgrade, because last time, weren't you in a closet in a cabin?
I was that. I tried doing it from a boat in the middle of Lake Hamilton, Arkansas, and didn't have any signal. So yeah, the next best thing was cabin, closet, floor. This is my office in the Seafarers Center.
Cool, man. Oh. I thought we were dedicated. This guy's doing it on vacation. That's
crazy. Right.
All I ever wanted.
So real quick, you're down at the Seafarers Center. Can you give us just a quick overview of where the center is and what you guys do at the center? That might be a good kind of starting point.
Sure. So we are at 1430 Wallace Street, which means nothing to anyone. We're right by the entrance to Fort McHenry. So there's that, and also right next to Steinweg Terminal. So all day long behind me, trucks are going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And you may hear some of the truckers because their porta-john is right there also. So we hear lots of thunk all day long and other less pleasant things. I do have a slight little teeny bit of water view right there. It's great.
It's like that, like when you're watching those real estate shows, and look, you got a water view. Well, if you look that way and you zoom way in between those two buildings, oh, I think I can see it.
Yeah, well, and there is a ship here right now, so
Oh.
I'm looking at the ship. I don't know which one.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Nice.
marine traffic knows everything.
Yeah.
This is the only terminal that seafarers can walk to us from. So we welcome seafarers here. Hospitality is our main thing, providing a welcome to the Port of Baltimore, to the city of Baltimore, to Maryland. And for that, we drive passenger vans into all of the terminals and visit the ships. We can walk to these ships here, and we go right on board, uninvited frequently, and say, "Hey, here we are."
So Pier 1, Pier 4, or the what is it, 8 or 10, where the tankers come in? Can you just walk
That's
up?
10. Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So there is a tanker there. That's further down. This one is in as FTMCH. So
yeah.
usually European officers, Filipino ratings, or mixed crews in general. But they'll walk here and say hi. We don't have a lot of seafarers come through the center because they don't really need to anymore, and they have a real small window of time in port. So what we do is go to the ships and see what they need, and if that is transportation to the mall or Walmart or grocery store or whatever, I'm prioritizing that over making them come sit here, drink coffee, and listen to me for however long. Because if they only have so much shore leave, I'm filling it with what they need. But our center is really nice. We have our facility is owned by the Maryland Port Administration. They lease it
Ever
to
since
us.
you gutted the joint.
Oh yeah, it hadn't been touched in half a century. So they came in and they said, "We'll renovate it." I asked very
You have
nicely.
before and after pictures?
I do have some before and after pictures.
That would be
I'll share them. I can share them with y'all.
Okay.
It was pretty rough. They came in, they said, "We'll renovate it," and when they started, they had to just keep going, and it was absolutely taken down to the studs, and some of the studs had to be replaced.
Right.
I mean, it was
Oh, wow.
it was bad. It was bad, but it's really nice now. I got a grant to refurnish it, so it's a good looking place.
Nice.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to see it, you can come anytime. But we're having an event on December 6th. Shameless plug.
Go for
Our
it.
first ever St. Nicholas fun run. It can be virtual or in person. And the in-person portion, people can come anytime during that day. I'll be here, stop in, say hi. They can do 3 laps around Fort McHenry, and that's a 5K.
Really?
Cool.
Yep.
I had no idea that was what it was. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So it'll be, we have a record number of registrants because it's our first event.
Right. So every time somebody signs up, it's a new record.
It's a record. Yeah, it's a record. We have had 1 registrant so far. But I'm excited. We have some sweet giveaways too. Every person that registers will get a BISC runner's hat. I'll send you all a picture of the design. It's very Maryland flag looking. So it'll be nice.
Well, we love our flag here, right? So
that's true.
So Josh, I have the flyer. We will put that flyer up on later on in the broadcast when we go through all of our upcoming events and everything. So we'll make sure that gets publicized for you.
Awesome, thank you. But that would be a great opportunity if you want to come and see the center. Highly recommend it, and I'll have lots of giveaways and snacks and whatnot. So yeah, cool. I do it upright.
Nice. Well, I have been there, and it does look nice. So if we're basing anything on what you did to the building, then I have faith you're doing it upright. Hey, can you?
Well, thank you.
Gosh, it seems like it was so long ago. But can you give us an update on like the Dali Crew?
I can.
Do you know anything about like how much longer they would be here based on any legal stuff? I mean, what can you?
I'll tell you what I can tell you. Actually,
Yeah.
one of the crew members is here right now.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Yeah, he's not going to make an appearance, but he's here now. The second officer he's become a really good friend. So he's here. He's the only one from North India. The rest of the crew are from Southern India and one from Sri Lanka. So
Mhm.
the rest of the crew all speaks the same language. He's the only one that speaks Hindi, and so he's been kind of doubly isolated, and we've gotten very close. Came to my child's fifth birthday party a couple weeks ago, and yeah,
Wow.
it's been he's a real sweet guy.
Hmm.
So
That's
the
awesome.
crew as a whole are still in limbo. Um, the
So we're talking like a year and a half, right?
Correct. So they're still here. They're all in kind of relatively nice apartments, extended stay hotel kind of situation in
Mm-hmm.
South Baltimore. The company's paying for them to stay there, and they just can't go home. It's been a tough situation. The end of the fact-finding portion of the investigation was July 19th.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting them to be able to start going home at that point, but that's not
Oh.
happened.
Hmm.
And
And
they've
who
not been
makes
charged.
that decision?
I believe it's the Department of Justice, but
Mm.
they've been able to go home for emergencies.
Oh.
One of the seafarers was going to get married, and after the bridge collapse, the girl's parents said, "No, we changed our mind," and he was allowed to go home to smooth things over, and he got married and came right back here.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, another one went home when his father was dying, but again, it came right back.
Hmm.
So
Wow.
it's
Thank
been
you. Just I can interrupt for just a second because wow, right? I mean, I think I, could guess or, come up with some ideas of how these folks may have been affected. Those two things I didn't have on my radar. So, wow.
well, and
Um,
what's bigger for me, not bigger than the death of one's father or getting married necessarily, but they're not able to keep up with their certifications. So
oh,
Oh.
yeah, so they are not. This whole time is time where they're not able to put in sea hours. They're not getting they're not keeping up with their peers. So I mean, any kind of promotion is going to be
Hmm.
going to fall behind, and yeah, they're going to have to kind of go through all that all over again when they get home. So they're not
hmm.
working right now. They desperately want to work, and they can't. So part of that is the Department of Justice keeping them here. The other part is it's the company has promised to produce them when requested, and it's easier for the company to do that if they're all in one place. So the
Right.
company is holding their passports in their offices in New York, so they couldn't leave it if they wanted to.
Oh, I see.
Um, yeah, they can move about freely here. If they want
Hmm.
to go anywhere to be away for a day or two, they let their lawyers know a few days in advance, just so that there's accountability there.
Hmm.
Um, but
I
that they
think
haven't really
maybe you
done that.
did tell us that before.
Right.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's been interesting. I'm mindful about their mental health. They and
Mm.
a number of them have lost a lot of weight. They're really
Oh my God.
in a tough situation, and because they're here primarily as witnesses against the company, it's an awkward situation because they can't really go to the company and say, "Hey, we're having issues." It becomes a conflict of interest sort of thing then.
Wow.
Um, yeah. So all strange, difficult, upsetting, and they're still very much aware of the gravity of the situation too. I mean, they they certainly did everything right in the moment, and but people lost their lives, and my 15-20 minute commute during the week is now 45 minutes an hour. So and I make sure to remind them of that frequently. So yeah, no, they're feeling it. They know that they've changed Baltimore, and it would weigh on anybody. It certainly weighs on them.
Wow.
Wow.
That's so
Wow.
impactful just to kind of think about it from that perspective. I mean, I know every time I go in the tunnel every morning and every afternoon, it's but
Yeah.
there's so many different ways that so many people have been impacted by this. I mean, and it's just,
Yeah.
And, I saw, I make the mistake of reading Facebook comments slightly too regularly. And somebody commented, well, we could put them to work building the new bridge. And I said, they would probably welcome that because they can't do anything right now except sit on their hands. They really want to do something. And if they could do that, I'm almost certain that they would.
wow.
They're having had this time to get to know a group of seafarers really well has been invaluable, and they really just want to work. They just want to work, and they're used to it, and now they can't. So it's been tough.
That takes me to another place. Like, I mean, you talk about how invaluable it has been to get to know this group of seafarers. Now, I would imagine that would be any group of seafarers. Do you find yourself, is there a lessons learned? Do you find yourself making adjustments? Do you interface with folks a little bit differently because of what you learned in your year and a half, like getting to know these guys on a one-on-one kind of thing? Or if it's no, that's cool. But I was just
I'm trying to think of how. I mean, lessons learned from these seafarers. I would say every seafarer is making a sacrifice in their work. They're leaving their families for months and months at a time, and they miss all sorts of stuff. I think that this has really underscored it for me, because I hear all this when I talk to seafarers. I know what they're missing, but to see it played out over the course of a year and a half has really
with some people that maybe you see weekly or whatever, once a month or whatever, however frequently.
Not even that. Yeah, no, seafarers. I mean, I rarely will see seafarers twice.
I'm sorry, I meant the folks that are here.
Oh, forgive me. Yeah, no, weekly.
Yeah,
weekly.
Wow.
So it's it's been a unique experience, to say the least. I mean, my job is one built on unique experiences, but this has really been a unique experience around unique experiences.
Interesting.
But every interaction with a seafarer is unique.
Yeah. Hey, so you had a job opening recently.
Yes, I did. So I mentioned one of our primary services is transportation for seafarers that have shore leave. What we do now is go pick them up, take them where they want to go. Frequently, they want to stay out longer than we have service available, because our drivers will work. I mean, it's like a 9 to 5 kind of job, and seafarers want to stay out longer if they can. And we haven't been able to provide return transportation for a lot of crews. So I advertised for a evening driver. Evening and weekends are our kind of gaps. And I got a tremendous response.
Really?
I was absolutely floored. Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
And so I have hired about 3 different people now. I've hired exactly 3 people that can
sure it's not both. 3.5, Josh?
It depends on the day,
anyway. See what I have to put up with here.
Yeah, so two of them are going to do the weeknights between them, and we'll have full coverage between those two. One of them will do weekends and help us with our communication stuff a little bit. I'm not so good at keeping up with Facebook and self-promoting so well, so he's going to help
Gotcha.
us with that. So yeah,
If
and
anybody
we
knows anything about that, it's me and this guy.
there you go. Right. But and we've also just gotten enough grant money come in to be able to purchase a new van. We were down 2 passenger vans, which was really kind of hurting us, and we have just signed an agreement to get a fully electric passenger van, 12 seat passenger van, and that'll help us a lot because our biggest drain is keeping those vans moving through everything. So I think it gets something like 125 miles on a charge, which is enough for us for a day.
Sure.
Cool.
So there we are. Yeah, moving and grooving here for sure.
Yeah. Wow. It's glad to see you guys are still doing it and still helping people out and keeping busy. So
Yeah, absolutely.
on a average week, how many people or how many ships?
So last month we saw 108 ships, and we gave point-to-point transportation to 324 seafarers.
Wow.
We have been averaging about 125, 130 ships a month, with about 400 or 500 seafarers transported point to point. So yeah, we're pretty busy, and we don't see them all, which is frustrating. So with this additional coverage, we'll be able to do more. But some of them are here and gone in the blink of an eye. The coal ships in particular are just like that, gone.
Yep, 2 days, man. They're out.
And so it's hard. One thing that is really important to me is that we see as many as we can, even if they're leaving fast, because if we go on board, we can find when there are issues that we can help address. So I'm always looking for red flags with violations to the Maritime Labor Convention of 2006 or human rights issues, those sorts of things.
Wow.
So we had I don't know if I told you this the last time, but we had a seafarer send me a message on Facebook saying, he's a Filipino. He said, "Oh, sir, I hope you come visit our ship." And I said, "No, you don't. No one ever just wants me to visit the ship to see my lovely face." So
you kind of have to interpret, right?
Yeah, and I thought, okay, well, they're asking for me to come. There's something else going on. Filipinos will never just tell you when something's wrong. So I said, "Oh, okay, well, is everything okay on board?" "Oh, yes, sir, everything's fine. The food's not so good sometimes." And I said,
which probably
okay.
means 80 or 90% of the time, right? I mean,
well, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Well, no, I've had some really good meals on board ships, actually. I get invited to eat when we're on board almost every time.
Oh, I just meant like if the guy's saying, "Well, every once in a while it's not so bad." Well, it's probably most of the time.
Well, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
So it started with the food's not so good, and what that ended up meaning was they had inadequate provisions. The produce and raw meat were being stored side by side and were typically rotten, so inedible. There was mold in the galley and roaches. They hadn't had their hours recorded correctly, and were each owed about $1,000 in back pay, and they hadn't been allowed off the ship in 3 months. So all of that came from, "I hope you come and visit us," and that's what it led to. So I had I arranged for a surprise inspection with the ITF, and all of that was remedied before they left.
Now, do we have ITF people here in Baltimore, or is that
No.
like Barbara down in Norfolk?
That would be Barbara. So we are in her jurisdiction. Yeah. So when something comes up, I give Bobby a call, and she'll come on up.
Oh, Bobby. Right.
Well, and no, sorry, professionally, Barbara. Yes,
Yeah.
Barbara Shipley. She cares very deeply about seafarers, and I have seen her go through the books and say, Captain, this is wrong, and they have to go to the safe and lay the cash out on the table to pay for the hours that were not recorded correctly.
Really?
Yeah, she does not fool around, and I really appreciate being able to work with her. We really depend on each other to make things right.
Wow. What fascinates me is that, and I'm going to make a couple assumptions here, that you didn't have, before you came to the Seafarer Center, you didn't have this seafarers experience. You didn't know all of these rules. And then maybe some signals and signs that you kind of had to read into kind of culturally. So to be able to pick up all that is fascinating to me.
Well, so I'm an Episcopal priest. I don't look like one, but I play one on TV,
Oh,
and
okay. Well, this is perfect then.
yeah, I don't wear the collar all that often because seafarers will talk a little more openly if they don't think that the Almighty is riding in the van with them. So that's good. But
And he means
before
that. I think he means that, Kipp. He's not trying to be funny there.
I know. I get it.
Oh no, I'm usually trying to be funny. It's just hard to tell.
Yeah.
But before I did this, I was a hospice chaplain for a
Mm.
time. And I went through the process to become a Navy chaplain. I turned down a lieutenant's commission with the Navy.
Wow.
I had just had we just had our child, and I thought,
Don't
I
want to
don't
move to
think this is the
Norfolk.
best time. Yeah, or but and then I ran 3 congregations before that, and so I've been. I've always wanted to do chaplaincy and this kind of chaplaincy specifically, because it's so much more important to me to work with people directly than to fuss over little old church ladies and whatever. But not that there's anything wrong with little old church ladies in case any
Right.
are watching this.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think you're safe, but okay.
well, I know at least one is watching this because she's a devout follower of the Shipwatchers group.
No way. All right.
And a good supporter of us. Yeah.
Cool.
So yeah, but people, it's not hard to pay attention. I mean, as long
Yeah.
when people matter and you're there for them, and when they know that, it goes a long way.
Oh,
And
that's so cool.
so I'm a safe space. Another
I heard that
thing
about you.
yeah, right. Yeah, well, I had it tattooed on my forehead for a time, a
Yeah.
safe space, and it kind of had the opposite effect. People went,
Ah.
yeah, he's trying too hard. But like I went on board a ship where a seafarer had gone missing. He'd gone missing in the Gulf of Mexico, and the guy's family reached out to me to go and sort of check in on things, and having I didn't go with my collar because I wasn't wearing it that day like an idiot, and so the crew didn't know that I mean they just knew that I was coming from the center, but they didn't know that I knew, and they weren't quite comfortable talking about it at first until I was there about 10-15 minutes, and then they were like, oh, okay, all right, by the way, this happened. I said, yeah, I already know. But yeah, that was a tough one. It was important to be there for the crew. He had jumped overboard, and we have that happen not infrequently. I guess it's about 10% of deaths at sea are suicide. And yeah, it's a tough job. They're isolated
Yeah.
and they
And just
are
imagine, because right, we're all different personalities, right?
yeah.
So what if you've got somebody who isn't nice to you, or is borderline verbally abusive, or just nasty, or doesn't care about what you think, and you're in a close space with them for 6 months? I mean, mentally, how do you handle
Wears you
that?
down.
And then now
It,
you have nobody to talk to that maybe you can trust. Your family isn't there. It's just
hmm
Ah.
Yeah, well, and there's, I mean, abuse in all sorts of forms is not unheard of at sea, unfortunately, and female seafarers in particular have. I mean, if seafarers are vulnerable, um, female seafarers are doubly, triply, quadruply so. It's hard. We don't have very many of them, and the
Mm-hmm.
ones that we do have are um,
Ugh.
yeah, are in a tough spot. But this guy was just. Um, anyway, it was just a tough situation. I go around and teach people that do what I do,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of red flags to look for when interacting with
Hmm.
seafarers, that something's
Yeah.
wrong. So
And that
I
is
do.
just stuff that you've picked up on your own.
No, I took. I'm trained to do that.
Oh, sorry.
I'm yeah. I'm a safe talk trainer. Safe
Hmm.
talk is suicide alertness for everyone. But I'm
Oh.
the only person in North America that is trained to do it for the maritime community. So
I think
I'm
Hmm.
all over doing that.
I think I remember when you went and took that training. I think I remember you telling us about that.
So I was recently in Halifax doing that, and then was in Houston the week after, Vancouver. I'm going back to Houston in December to do it again, and but it's good. I mean, it's helpful for people to realize, that these we're more connected than ever before. Seafarers are more connected with their families than they ever were before.
Mm-hmm.
But that just means that they know what's going on at home that they can't do anything about, and sometimes that is
Hmm.
even harder.
Sometimes not knowing is
Yeah,
maybe better, huh?
and so they're just in a
Uh,
tough spot, and they make our world move. We
right.
couldn't do this, couldn't live the way we live anywhere near it without these guys doing
Sure.
what they do.
Wow.
Um, so
Absolutely, man. Wow.
yeah,
Thank gosh. I don't know if we have anything else to talk about, but I'm just gonna say right now, thank you so much for coming on and painting a picture
Yes.
for folks, right? Because okay,
anytime.
we're ship watchers, okay, we're on all these social media accounts, we got 16,000 people, and then who makes all this work
Yeah,
and what are they going through? Right? So wow.
yep. It's a lot, and if anyone ever wants to go visit a ship, I'm happy to take them. You can meet a
Man, I got it.
seafarer,
We
and
got it. I got to do that. I
I'll
got to
make it
do it.
happen. That's I'm always happy to give port tours, and I
Awesome.
can set it up.
And I have my Twic card.
You do, you
I
do.
do. So it'll be maybe easier to make that happen.
Yeah.
It's the same thing either way. Joe Schmo off the street can come as long as they're with me.
Oh,
It's
okay.
easy.
Oh, you got it like
I
that.
mean,
Oh, okay. I didn't
they
know.
they let Kipp in. I mean, so
Yeah. So yeah, anybody's fair game at this point.
Tell you what.
why I oughta, yeah.
Man, nice. We
No,
we can go out on a zinger.
there you go.
Not from Singer. Okay, I'll stop.
I don't know how we're going to recuperate from this one.
Really?
Recover from this one. Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Yeah.
It's always good talking to you.
Yeah.
No,
Hey, an idea for the future. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting Kipp. An idea for the future. What do you think about? And I don't know if you ever had time for this. What do you think about if we just had you here for the whole podcast? And then
Happy to do it.
Then I could have two talking heads to bounce stuff off of instead of just one. Would you
I'm
be up for
always
that
happy
maybe next
to.
time?
Yeah, and people, I'm the port chaplain, so I'm involved with every aspect of the community here. People tell me all sorts of crap, so I know pretty much
Oh,
what's going on. Um,
right. Great point.
so I'm happy. I've got I've got my fingers in all sorts of
You got
stuff,
the
and happy
intel. You
to.
got the 411.
Well, you certainly do. People are always texting you about you. You have lots of sources, which is
I
impressive.
I have a few. I do pride myself on those relationships that I have. So
There you go.
it's
Well, it's good.
pretty cool thing to have built up over the years.
And if you want to try to organize like a ship watchers tour of Dundalk and Seagirt, I can do that. You know, that would be fun.
Oh, you're going to regret you said that.
Yep. Even the research department laughed at that one. All righty. Yeah.
How's it
What's
going? Okay.
Yeah, she says hi.
Okay.
All right. So I think, for me, this is it's important to understand that there's a humanistic side to everything that's going on, and I hope that at least the viewership will listen to it and go and say, when public comments are made, the what ifs, or I wish this woulda, shoulda, coulda. No, there's also a humanistic side to it. So I appreciate you coming in and kind of reiterating that's yes, while there's a lot of issues and challenges with a lot that's transpired over the past year and a half, there's still a humanistic element to that. So I appreciate you framing that from that perspective. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we'll
Ships
have
don't
to
move themselves.
That's correct. That's
How about
correct.
that? Yet.
Yeah. A lot of people. I mean, you'd be amazed how many people I talk about seafarers. They go, "What?" They just don't. They think
Right.
it just sort of goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, like I say about the port, it's a pretty big industry, but if you don't go through one of the tunnels and see the ships, or you don't know somebody that works here, or you don't just drive by and see part of it, most people don't think about it. It's certainly not a cottage industry, but I think
in my line of work we call that. In my line of work, we call that sea blindness. There's So a lot of what I do is stuff like this is trying to show the maritime industry to people, because like you said, if you don't see it, you don't see it.
Yeah.
And the city was founded around the port. The port was here first, and
Isn't that amazing?
As time goes on, the city pushes the port out. So it's still the center of commerce here. It's just not, it's not the inner harbor anymore.
Right. Right. And I'm always telling folks about, how Domino is the last, closest one to the city, to the inner harbor. And if Domino wasn't there, it wouldn't be 35 feet there anymore. That's for sure. All right. Thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Josh, for being on the Two Guys Talking Ship podcast.
Anytime. It was nice to be the third ship talker.
See ya.
Thanks. Are you sure that you really wanted to invite him for a full episode? I don't know.
Why not?
I don't know that we're going to be able to get through one with the two of you cackling back and forth and laughing. That was
it was fun though.
That was great. I'm glad that he had that opportunity to come in and share with us. And, what things that are going on, and I always enjoy listening to him rib us and
he's a lot of fun, but it's an interesting dichotomy, right? Because he's a fun guy, but then the subject matter that he has to talk about is so touching, for lack of a better term. It's it's so interesting to talk to him. Well, we'll have him on for the whole podcast, and then we'll have to scrap the last 5 stories because we're having too much fun and we run out of time. So what?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. All right, let's get into the rest of the Port of Baltimore news.
Yep.
World Maritime Day? What is that?
Yeah, I know. That kind of snuck up on me. World Maritime Day was September 25th, set to honor the tireless work of the international maritime industry workers. The word maritime comes from the Latin word maritimus. I'm probably not saying that correctly. Which means of the sea. The day illuminates the role that every maritime officer, service agent, and seafarer plays in our individual lives. So, wow, did we plan that? Did we plan that well?
Yeah.
How did we get to World Maritime Day right after talking to Josh? And we didn't even plan that. That was like happy accident. That's crazy.
You have some updates on the Sapphire explosion.
Right. So remember, the explosion was August 18th. And then she just kept going under power, and they put her like north of the Bay Bridge. They did not want that ship to go under the Bay Bridge, and it was there for a month. And they were getting food delivered. And when I say food delivered, I don't mean somebody went to Chick-fil-A and jumped on a boat.
Right.
Like how it's normally delivered through a large maritime service company like Vane Brothers here in town that's been in town for over 100 years. And then there were crew boats that were going out there every day. And people were working on the ship. And then this would be interesting to find out, another of Mike's, Kipp, your mission, should you choose to accept it, to figure out why the Coast Guard wanted to move it further south in the bay. I'm sure there's a reason, but it's almost like, well, after a month, why move it now? I mean, I'm sure there's a very good reason. So they moved it down near Cove Point, and what I also heard was that initially they were going to put it in a chop tank. And if you don't know your local rivers, the chop tank is very deep.
Oh.
So it's like deeper than shipping channel deep.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. But they scrapped that, and so she's down near Cove Point, which is interesting because that's an LNG facility. Anyway, so let's see. And then so the plan supposedly that I think you and I may have heard was that they are probably going to bring her back up to Baltimore to do some offloading. I don't know how much, and then do some repairs before she can get back out of here.
Yeah, and some of the conversations that I've heard, not only at the Baltimore Port Alliance meeting, but elsewhere within the industry, is how does this actually going to take place if that has to happen? Because there's only a handful of piers or terminals that can handle the depth that ship needs. The coal terminal is an export terminal, so they don't necessarily have the mechanisms readily available to extract the coal out of the ship.
Right.
And then we have to talk about the commerce side of things. Now we're re-importing coal that was previously exported and having to do the customs clearance and the temporary bond and those types of things. So there's even a business transaction that's got to take place. Can't just bring the ship up along pier and just start scooping it out and dumping it out on
there's
out on the pier.
There's definitely some paperwork and process to it.
So there's a lot that's going to have to go in.
I didn't think about that, really.
Yeah. So there's a lot that has to go into trying to mitigate a solution like this. It's not just, well, why don't they just bring it in there and scoop it out and fix it and be done? It's not that easy.
Right. And you know what I didn't realize is that Rucker Terminals has a 50-foot berth there along Lazaretto Point.
Correct.
I didn't know that. I thought it was 43 or 47 or 45. I did not know that berth B was 50 feet. I did not know that.
I knew that, and they've also got that specialized crane that allows you to do multi-purpose transactions too. So that may be an option also.
Yeah, because can you imagine if they had to offload that entire ship? And then think about this, and I don't know how this works. Right? I still don't know how this works. You're loading a ship. Do they load it evenly so that they don't stress it? Okay, so if you want to offload a bunch of coal out of the number 2 hold, do you have to take as much or half as much out of 1 and 3?
Yeah.
And a quarter of as much out of 4? I mean,
I'm not well versed in that.
I don't think they can go out to sea with 1 hold empty. I don't think that would be
coming through the.
Well, just what if it's something that's sort of in the middle, 3 or 4?
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I mean, can the thing just like fold in half under the weight?
It's possible. I mean, you look at this. Look at some of those crazy videos where the ships split at sea, and those are loaded.
Right.
News from the Coast Guard.
Yeah. So they're rebuilding one of the piers at the yard.
Okay.
Contract valued at $11 million to Ocean Construction Services. Yeah. So we'll see. We really don't know much about that.
Right.
Are they? It says reconstruction, so obviously they're not removing it and putting in a new one, but
correct. It'd be improvements.
Yeah, I'm wondering what that means. If
Sure.
From a detailed standpoint, that would be interesting.
There have been some key bridge updates. A lot of movement has taken place. The Key Bridge rebuild site has provided quite a number of pictures. I've got one of them here.
Very cool. Yeah. So here is a photo of the very first pilings. Now, it's amazing to know that these are 2 inches thick, 8 feet in diameter, and 220 feet long. Right? I mean, that really helps to paint a picture. I mean, they look kind of smaller on here. They're being made in Texas and Louisiana. So even though we've got a bunch of people trying to figure out which tug is bringing them up and how close are they? I mean, they snuck up on us like, I don't know, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? And just, they're here.
Yep.
Like nobody had any clue that they were coming. So typically, our Shipwatcher folks, especially the folks that hang out on the camera chat, are pretty good at figuring that stuff out.
Sure.
Right. But they missed one. So you can see the big crane in the background. That's Weeks 533. That's the same crane that took the containers off of Dali, talking about tying some things together here on the podcast. Yeah. And it looks small from here, but it's not. And so that has been in here. Gosh, we talked about that last podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's been 2 weeks ago. And then they're bringing in other barges. They brought in these piles. For some reason, it seems they moved the piles from the left side to the right side of the crane, from the left side to the right side of the crane. I'm not sure what they're doing. But obviously, I mean, you can see them out there working on things, getting things set up. When we zoom in with the high def camera, you can definitely see. And there's a crew boat that delivers people out there every morning and takes them back every evening. So it's interesting. Oh, well, you've got a barge. They need some tipping. It's called a tipping barge. And then there's a template that they use to hold the piling, I don't know, still or in place, while they pick up this giant ram that they're going to use to hammer it into the bottom. And so if the crane's been here for 2 weeks, nobody's going to bring a crane in 2 weeks earlier and pay for it for no reason, right? So there must be a whole lot of setup involved that we're not comprehending.
Sure.
At least I'd imagine. But let me read through some of this information here. Test pile program for the Francis Scott Key Bridge set to begin this weekend. 6 massive test piles of American-made steel have arrived in Baltimore. Over the next 6 to 8 weeks, crews will drive 12 piles into Patapsco River to ensure the new bridge design is strong and safe. It says here, neighbors may hear sounds similar to a large bell during pile driving. I've been told, here it is. About 2 hours per pile.
It's interesting.
Yeah, so they have like all that calculated out in advance, right? And then here's the sequence. The piles will be lifted into position using a crane and a tipping barge. The piles will be placed in a template and stabilized with a vibratory hammer. Piles will then be driven into the riverbed with a hydraulic hammer. The load frame, now remember we saw that last podcast, that big giant steel structure that came in on those huge trucks and then they bolted it together, I guess.
Right.
Can you imagine what those bolts look like?
I know, right?
Right? Just think about that. Just think of what the bolts look like. The load frame will be placed on the 6 piles and exert vertical and horizontal pressure. The equipment and piles are equipped with instruments which will be report out data to ensure the design models are accurate. So that's a lot of detailed information about. We're only putting in 6 piles in 2 weeks, but I'm sure there's a lot that goes into it that we're not aware of.
But it'll be interesting to watch this process over the next couple of weeks and see how they progress with everything. All right, and Sparrows Point Container Terminal has been in the news here.
Right. So, and if I wasn't on Facebook and wasn't following all these pages, might not have even seen this.
Sure.
Baltimore District Army Corps of Engineers has published the Sparrows Point Container Terminal final environmental impact statement. I mean, that's a big deal, right? I mean, is that the big one? Is that you can't do anything until we issue this final environmental impact statement?
Correct.
Assessing the potential social, economic, and environmental impacts of the proposed project at Trade Point Atlantic. The container terminal is the next major phase of redevelopment of Trade Point Atlantic. Army Corps of Engineers is the lead agency for environmental review and permitting process at the site through Fast 41. Are you familiar with what that is?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Through Fast 41, a legislatively established process for improving federal agency coordination and timeliness of environmental reviews for infrastructure projects. So that was, I think Baltimore District shared some pictures, and then Trade Point shared it, but no hoopla or big statements about it. I guess I'm kind of surprised, or maybe it's you're ticking off box 10 in a 26 box process. Maybe it's just like
sure. And I think there is some of that it's just you have certain things or certain actions that you have to complete as you're going through that process.
All
right. Well, that's so there is quite a bit going on all over the port.
Yep.
All right. So for upcoming events, so this weekend is the Pride of Baltimore 2's Celebration Festival down at Broadway Pier.
Right.
So if you want to brave the rain and look at that opportunity, maybe go out and take a look at that.
Yeah, there's a lot of vendors there. They're going to have like a welcome home ceremony. There's going to be speakers, a band, I think, the Fife and Drum Corps from Fort McHenry, I think is who it is. So a lot going on there.
A lot going on there. So make sure you bring your poncho, a raincoat, and head down there. They also have some deck tours on Saturday and Sunday. Saturday is on Broadway Pier. Sunday is at Fort McHenry.
Right.
And then they'll be back around in October with quite a number of free deck tour opportunities.
Cool.
Trade Point Atlantic has its fall open house coming up October the 14th. They'll have some announcements for that. That is a virtual open house, and they come.
I missed the old one, man.
Yeah, where it was in person. Sure. Well, it's their corporate office doesn't have the facilities anymore to be able to do that because they were doing it out of the old Union Hall at Beth Steel.
Is that where it was?
That's where it was. Yeah. So that's coming up. Well, as the link gets promoted by TradePoint Atlantic, we'll help support that opportunity.
Sure, of course.
Also, it's fall. It's coming on Halloween time. You know what that means?
Go ship.
Yes, so the John W. Brown turns into Baltimore's ghost ship haunted attraction. And if you would like to go and see a really cool opportunity to go walk around on the Brown, all decorated out in Halloween themed,
Right, and it's basically a haunted house, right? So
right.
On an 80-year-old ship. I mean, you want to talk about spooky.
It's spooky to begin with. Go to www.ssjohnwbrown.org or baltimoreghostship.com for tickets and information. The dates, it looks like that through October, the Fridays and Saturdays in October from 7 to 10 is when they have those times available for that.
Cool.
So also, as you heard on the guest segment, Josh was talking about the St. Nicholas Fun Run. Mm-hmm. This is both a virtual or a drop-in 5K to benefit the Baltimore International Seafarers Center. And so if you are a runner or if you want to just help support them and try to run, you can participate in this event. Go to baltseafarers.org/St. Nicholas Run for more information. Sign up, help Josh to go raise some money to go help the Seafarers with their operation. And then you can, he also said, if you want to come out on December the 6th and visit the Seafarers Center and then take your 3 laps around Fort McHenry, that constitutes as the 5K.
There you go.
It sounds like a fun time with that. So those are our upcoming events right this second.
Yes, sir.
In the Port of Baltimore history segment, there's 2 things that I picked up on for this week. The first one is Baltimore's World Trade Center, and it is 45 years old right now as of yesterday, September the 25th. The World Trade Center in Baltimore was formally dedicated and opened to tenants on this date back in 1977. Just 2 years later, in 1979, the observation deck, known as the Top of the World Observation Level, opened for the first time. And it stands 429 feet tall from the ground level to the roof. And at over 30 stories, the building is a state office building with a high and low hub combining at floor 21. 27th floor is the only public space in the building for guests to marvel the spectacular 360-degree view from 11,000 square foot cubic space of floor space. So that's
and it's closing.
And it's closing. That is correct. I don't remember when the last day is, but if you're
it's soon,
it's coming up soon. So take a look at that. Also, another major historical event, Port of Baltimore, that occurred in September the 27th was the launch of the first Liberty ship during World War II.
How cool is that? Now, is the first one here or the first one overall?
The first one it was the first launch of the first Liberty ship during World War II. Wow. So the very first one. September 27th, 1941, launch of the SS Patrick Henry. And so that was launched from the Baltimore Naval Dockyard. So two big events that are happening this week. And that's all I got.
Cool. That's some cool history, man. Hey, so as we close it out, just a reminder, we are Baltimore and Chesapeake Bay Shipwatchers. We are on Facebook, Reddit, Threads, Instagram, X. We're all over the place. Obviously, this podcast is in a myriad of places. And then if you would like to support us, we have a Patreon page. If you would like to join us to support and help offset some costs for $5 a month. Or we have some great looking swag, glasses, hat. I mean, when I'm talking about glasses, I mean drinking glasses, hats, performance, like like UV, like thin clothing or sweatshirts, all kinds of stuff that you can go right on to www.baltimoreshipwatchers.com. Order, shows up at your house. Start thinking about your Christmas gifts for your
There you go.
fans and friends of the port.
I know my mom has asked for one of those glasses, so I got to go figure that out.
Yeah. So remember, there's like the small drinking glass, and then there's like a wine glass also.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're pretty cool. We have a set of each.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
And you can also find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. You ready?
Yep. Do it.
3, 2, 1. Happy ship watching.
All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the podcast, and we'll have a podcast next week.